Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I go by Hiram Obogwa. Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I'll be covering Java exception handling. Now we've seen certain type of errors which are called compilation errors, and those errors happen before we run our actual code, before we run our programs. And the thing with those errors is they already occur before you even package up your application. Now there's another set of errors which are called the runtime exception errors. And those are the errors that happen whenever your program is running, right? So it could be from, for example, let's say you're reading in a value from a user. It needs to be a number, but they input a string. So how do you handle that? But one thing you need to know as a developer is how do you go about handling those errors, right? To make sure that your program doesn't fail. Your program should be built in a manner that it can handle an invalid input from a user. So you must always work under the assumption that the inputs you're getting can be wrong. That way your application is prepared and ready to handle that. So with that, I'll go ahead and create the project. And here we have our project. Again, if you're new to IntelliJ, go watch my IntelliJ video to understand how to create a project and setting it up. With that, I'll create my default package. And then next, I'll create my app runner class. And I'll just print out a statement. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is read an input from a user, and I'll expect that input to be of type integer. Now, as you can see, this code compiles fine. And I'll go ahead and run it just to show you. I'll read a number from a user and show you that it works just fine before showing you the case where this code can fail. So we run, it's gonna ask for a number, and I'm gonna give 56. User entered 56, and that program just ran fine. So now let's try running it again, but this time instead of giving a number, we'll give an input that's invalid. Enter number, I'm gonna enter string. And as you can see, our program crashed and it threw this input mismatch exception. So this is what I'm covering today, and this is what I want us to understand how we go about handling this. Now in Java, we have what's called a try-catch statement, and I'll go ahead and write that. Now, as you can note, this program exited with exit code 1, and that indicates that it failed. So now let's see what happens whenever we run it and we handle the exception. Now, as you can see, it finished processing with exit code 1, but we were able to catch our error and printed out the statement application field to process input. So let's look at this try-catch statement. So the way that we work with the try-catch statement is we want the code that we think has a possibility of failing inside this try statement, And then we have the catch statement. So that says what do we do whenever we catch this error, right? So whenever an exception is thrown in here, we catch it here. And then what do? Here we just print out a statement indicating that, hey, whatever we were trying to process failed. Now, there's also another block that comes with this try catch. So there's try catch, and there's what's called finally. Let's see how it works. So let's run this code again and see. I'll input the right number. So here, as you can see, the final block executed, even though we gave the correct input. Now let's try and run it again, but this time let's give an invalid input. Now again, as you can see, in this instance, the catch exception block executed and the finally block executed. So the thing to note about finally is that it will always execute no matter what. So that's the basics of Java exception handling, is knowing when to utilize the try catch and also when you need to utilize the finally. So if you have some code that needs to execute, whether it's successful or fails, you can put that in the finally block. Thank you for watching my tutorials. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe if you haven't, and also check me out on Instagram at codrush.io.